Over the past 997 days, these are some of the things that I've learned from doing NoFap. If you're currently masturbating on a daily basis, once, twice, 3 times a day, and you're looking for a way to instantly feel like you're living in a different body when you wake up tomorrow, and you want to just have a completely different life, the fastest way to do that, the most guaranteed surefire way of doing that, is to begin the practice of NoFap. It's just that simple. When you retain life force, when you practice life force cultivation, life is different. Life is very, 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 very different. Because rather than giving your energy out, you're keeping it in, you're cultivating, you're growing it. And this is going to allow you to be much more focused on your work in life. Maybe it's your studies, maybe it's your business, maybe it's your relationships, but much more focused, much more present. It's going to allow you to be much more disciplined, effortlessly disciplined. Like discipline, it's in itself is very pain in the ass, right? It's like, oh, I gotta be disciplined. But imagine if it's effortless. If you want discipline to be effortless, NoFap is the answer. When you hold in your life force, you become much more of a man and less of a child. And over the past 997 days, these are some of the things that I've learned from doing NoFap. So the first thing I've learned is that being 100% consistent, being 100% pure, being 100% successful with your life force cultivation attempts is not necessary. I'll say that again. It's not necessary to have a 997-day run streak. It's not necessary to have a 30-day run streak. It's not necessary to have a 100-day streak. You don't need streaks. What you need is to be present, and what you need is to just be attentive to your energy levels, your moods, your urges. Just be attentive. Be in your body. Just be aware of how it feels. And by doing that, paradoxically, you're then going to have these streaks. You're going to have the streaks. The streaks are going to come. And if you get off a streak, if what happens, you hit a road bump or you fall into the curb or you fall into the gutter, whatever, you're going to be able to get right back on track. You're going to get back on track and you're going to just say, wow, I'm back on. I feel fantastic. You're going to be good. But the more you practice NoFap, the less those slip-ups happen. And when they do happen, you're going to learn from them anyway, so it's going to be beneficial. You're going to have more wisdom, whether you slip up, whether you succeed. The wisdom's going to keep coming, no pun intended. That's the first thing I learned, is that being 100%, having these long streaks is not necessary. The longer the streaks you have, okay, cool, great, pat yourself on the back. But the difference in your life between having a 30-day streak or having a 60-day streak is not much of a difference. The point is just to have streaks on a regular basis, like semi-long streaks, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months, whatever. But you don't need to count the days. You don't need to have a fucking calendar saying, oh, here's my NoFap calendar, put X's on each day. That's stupid. Just know that holding the life force is much better than letting it out, and you're always going to do your best to hold it in. That's the first thing I noticed. The second thing I've noticed after doing this for almost 1,000 days now is it's okay to have sex. It's okay to masturbate. Just don't finish. Just don't blow your load. Just keep the life force in. It's okay to interact with the opposite sex or the same sex, however you like to go about doing things. It's okay to be sexual. You're not trying to shut off all sexuality. You're not trying to shut off all interests and urges. That's not the purpose. The purpose is just to keep the life force inside you. So having sex, yeah, totally cool, totally fine. Still do it. Masturbating, totally fine. You can still do it. Just don't finish. Practice not finishing. A couple tips for not finishing. Okay, these are big. You might want to take notes on these ones. If you're going to have sex, you're going to masturbate. A couple tips for not actually finishing is, number one, go into the activity. So you have to start off the activity. You have to start off having sex or start off masturbating in that session that you do it. You have to start off with the intention of, I'm not going to come. I'm not going to come. I'm going to hold it in. I'm going to hold it in. If you don't start it, you kind of decide halfway through, by then your reproductive brain has already taken over and your brain just wants to come. So you need to go into it with a sane mind, the logical mind, and be like, I am not going to come if I have sex right now. You can tell your partner that, whatever, give them a heads up. That way you know fair and square that and you've put it out there. You told your partner, you told the universe that you're not going to come, and then you'll be so much more likely not to come. But again, if you start off and kind of halfway through, or especially near the end, you're like, oh, should I come, should I not come? You're always going to come. Because by that point, your reproductive brain's already taken over and it wants to reproduce. So you have to start off with that intention. Second piece of advice, though, for not coming if you're having sex or masturbating is a couple things. Number one, don't clench your cheeks. Keep your butt cheeks loose. All right, guys, keep your butt cheeks loose. If you keep your butt cheeks tight, like they are when you're always going to come, then you're going to come. But I think it's impossible. It's like sneezing with your eyes open. It's impossible to come with your ass cheeks completely loose. So just focus on letting your butt cheeks stay loose and still going through the motions, give your girl pleasure, and you'll be less likely to come. That brings me to the other tip, is focus on giving your girl pleasure, focus on giving your partner pleasure, focus on the other person. If you feel like you're maybe about to come or it's getting too good, whatever, then just shift your focus 100% to them and just keep giving them pleasure. And then the other thing is focus on your breath as well. Just go into deep introspective mode on your breath. Just listen to the listen to your breath. Be very aware. As soon as you take your focus off the pleasure, as soon as you take your focus off how good it feels, or I'm gonna come, I'm not gonna come, you just focus purely on your breath, you're gonna all of a sudden shift gears. You're not gonna want to come anymore because you're just gonna focus on the breath. Okay, so those are some massive tips that if you are gonna have sex, you are gonna masturbate, again, set the intention, not gonna come, unclench your butt, and focus on your breath and focus on giving your partner pleasure. Okay, now the third thing I've noticed with NoFap is that the best way to make it easier on yourself, the best way to ensure that you are going to stay successful with NoFap is to really clean up your lifestyle. Really clean up your lifestyle and stop doing stupid shit with your time. Stop going out and partying with friends. Stop eating crappy food. That's probably the biggest one. Just stop eating crappy food. As soon as you stop eating crappy food and start focusing on whole food, plant-based foods, you're naturally going to stop going out and partying with friends. You're naturally going to stop wanting to do all these drugs. You're naturally going to want to start going to bed a bit earlier and just taking care of your health. But that's the third thing I've learned, is that the people who are not really into holistic living and not really into whole food, plant-based foods, they're going to be much more likely to fap off and just not be able to do it. The number one food I'd recommend staying away from when it comes to diet, it's not even a food actually, it's a drug. We'll talk about a food in a sec, but the number one drug I'd recommend staying away from if you want to be successful with NoFap is caffeine. Caffeine, man. If you have caffeine, there's a really good chance that you're going to want to fap it out, because caffeine really gets your adrenal glands going, really gets your stress going, and then the easiest way to just lower the stress is to fap. And so that's something to really pay attention to, is are you consuming caffeine? The food of choice I'd recommend staying away from is anything really high in fat and really like deep fried. Any garbage food that you eat, same thing, it's going to put your body in a stress mode, and the only way to lower the stress, or the fastest way to lower the stress, is for you to then just bust a nut. Now the final point I want to leave you guys here with is something that I've really recognized in my own battles with being successful with NoFap, is that you want to really pay attention. I'm glad you guys got to the end here, because this is like the golden piece right here. You want to pay attention to and take note, like actually take a note, take a pen and put it on paper and actually write this out every time it happens. Take note every time you mess up and try and reflect on why you think you messed up. Like, what was it? Was it because you were stressed? Was it because you were lonely? Was it because you were angry? Because you saw this certain girl? Like, what was it? What was the trigger for you? And just make note of that. Was it because you had caffeine? Was it because you had crappy food? Was it because you took some Adderall and you couldn't sleep? Like, what was the reason why you ended up busting the nut? Just take note of it and just reflect on it. And the more you do that, the wiser you're going to become. And you're going to be able to help a lot of other people out. You really help a lot of people out with being successful with not just NoFap, but any other area of life as well. Maybe it's fitness, maybe it's relationships, maybe it's diet, maybe it's gardening, maybe it's any sort of area in life. Could be helping people get off diabetes or whatever. So the more you're taking note of what works for you, the more you'll be able to help other people out as well. And if you are into helping other people out for a living, if you do consider yourself a teacher or an expert or someone who just knows a lot about a certain topic, then you want to check out tedcarclass.com, because that class is going to show you how you can take what you know, package it up, and sell it online in the form of video courses, hybrid video courses. So if you want to be a coach, or you want to put out video courses, or even ebooks or audiobooks, whatever, you want to sell your knowledge online, tedcarclass.com. It's going to show you how to do that. It shows you how I've done it, and gives you a step-by-step plan for how you can do it as well. So like I said, if you're an expert in NoFap, or not even expert, but you just know a lot about NoFap, or you know a lot about raw foods or veganism or fitness or dancing or gardening, whatever, tedcarclass.com will show you how to actually package up what you know and sell it in the form of online video courses. So hope this video was helpful, and if it was, give it a thumbs up. I appreciate that, and be sure to hit the subscribe button. And yeah, I'll see y'all in the next video. All right, peace out, much love.